Lunyuan City. The inhabitants lead a sedate life, but there are more of them than usual. The guards at the gate wonder if today is a special day. It doesn't seem to be a holiday, but there are many people in the courtyard. One of the guards was surprised. His colleague must not be from here. After all, young Master Zhenyu was returning from the Heavenly Host Temple today to check on his family. The Temple of the Heavenly Host is the same temple that they say that if you become a disciple in it, you will one day become a hegemon. The other guard wondered, is there really an adept of this temple in the Lun family? I would like to see him. A huge flash suddenly appeared in front of the guards, and a powerful beam of light. Mr. Zhenyu appeared in front of the soldiers. An elder appeared and asked, "Who is making noise here? This is outrageous! Whoever is making noise is disturbing the Lun family." The young man floating in the air thought, how dare a firefly compete with the bright moon? He lost the ability to soar and fell to the ground. The fall was so hard that a hole was formed. The old man thought the strongest, at the limit of his wandering thoughts, appeared here. He is, after all, twice as strong as the master, so they're in danger. That was Lun Zhengyu. He was expelled from the Heavenly Host Temple for stealing a miracle medicine. Everyone in the neighborhood took notice. They realized that the family had insulted the temple of the Heavenly Host. Without the support of the temple, this family would have a hard time. The old man didn't think that he would see the day when his grandson Zhenfei, who had been oppressed by Lun Zhenyu for so long, would finally breathe a sigh of peace. He said, "There's nothing to see here. This man has dishonored the family. His body is staining this ground. We should take it away quickly and bury it in an abandoned cemetery." This young man was said to be a scoundrel. Who would have thought he'd become a thief? It's a disgrace. He disgraced their family. The young man with the bruises on his face opened his eyes. The boy wondered if he was dying. Suddenly, there was a deafening explosion. A column of dust rose up. Everyone crouched down in terror. The elder, the head of the family, appeared. He asked, who dared to touch his grandson? The old man said that his grandson had not died yet. But will he survive to become the next master? The angry man said, the old man may be the head of the family, but that doesn't mean his grandson deserves forgiveness. He shouldn't condone it. The young man began to breathe deeply and cough up blood. The old man became animated and asked what was happening to his grandson. The elder noticed that along with the blood, poison was coming out. He realized that his grandson had been poisoned. The old man picked him up in his arms and carried him into the house. The evil man thought that this young man, Lun Zhengyu, would not last long. And then, his Zhenfei would be next in line. He would take this guy's place and become the head of the Lun family very soon. The old man carried his grandson to the training room. He tried to use his energy capabilities to cleanse the young man's body of the poison and bring the young man to his senses. The old man felt strange vibrations transmitted from the young man. His hand began to heat up. He thought, how is this possible? The old man realized that the young man's body contained a dangerous poison. The old man would definitely not survive if he was also poisoned. Zhengyu was almost dead. 2 months passed. The girls were saying, as the young man left, that he was the same guy. They heard that he was powerless now. He was a disgrace to the Lun family, and he had robbed the Heavenly Host Temple. The girl went up to the young man and told the gentleman that there was a strong wind outside, and he is still very weak, and they had better go back inside. The young man said that it amused him to see those girls talking behind his back. The red-haired beauty told the young man that he was outstanding. The girl continued, one day he will reach the 9th heaven and float in it. The boy thought that with a body like that, he couldn't even live, let alone develop his abilities. He doesn't think he's an outstanding person. A young man accompanied by servants appeared next to him and said that his talented cousin was in front of him. Talented in the past. But now, he seems weak and pathetic. The young man thought that John Fei had come to mock him. John Fei said, how dare he dare to be impertinent to him? Does he still think he's an important person? After all, he's nothing now. The young man turned around and told his companion that they were going back out. He wanted to rest. Zhenfei followed his cousin away, yelling that he didn't belong in this house anymore, because he was a piece of trash and deserved nothing better. Suddenly, a warrior with a sword appeared on the young man's path. It was Hu Gongju. The warrior asked, had he really not gone down yet? Does he really want to fight him? John Fei said he was walking now. He turned around and ran off. He didn't understand what this warrior was doing here? Didn't he leave to find a cure? No one was expecting him here for another 2 years. Jung Yu walked over to the warrior and said hello to his Uncle Hu. Uncle thought, why did his nephew look so sick? Had he really been poisoned? The young man's companion, weeping bitterly, said that Uncle Hu must save the young man. The young man turned to the girl and said that he was not going to die yet. And he took his companion's hands. Uncle Hu told the young man not to lie. In his condition, one doesn't live longer than 3 months. What kind of rascal would you have to be to give a person the heavenly poison of demise? The uncle gave the young man a pill and told him to drink it. It would definitely help him. The man added what a mean thing it was to poison a young man with deadly poison. Uncle Hu added that the young man had little strength of his own. Without this pill, he would not last long. The young man drank the decoction and told Uncle Hu that he had been drinking it for the past 15 years. But there was no benefit from it. The man said, "How much does he understand? It's a tincture of purple carnelian, and since he's been giving it to the young man for so many years, it must have done some good. We should drink it all. There's not much left." Uncle Hu checked the young man's pulse and skin quality. He said that the young man's body was very weak. It needs to be strengthened. For that, they will go somewhere. The young man should get ready. Zheng Yu said he would go and ask grandfather's permission. Uncle Hu said that the young man is so weak that he can't even protect his old man. We must hurry, so they must go to the right place at once. The young man thought his uncle was still the same. No wonder he was his mother's guardian. He guarded her in the same way. Uncle is stronger and more energetic than his grandfather. The young man remembered that when he was little that year, his uncle had tried his best to protect him. The red-haired girl thought that now that Mr. Hu Gongju was here, the young master would become more malleable. The young master would definitely become the strongest in the entire Middle Kingdom. Uncle Hu, without any difficulty, flew to the right place, holding his grandson under his arm. The young man said that his Uncle Hu was as strong as ever, and asked what limit he was from. That year, Uncle Hu was not reckoned with, even by the temple of the heavenly host. In life, man has 9 major limits of development. Each of them contains 9 minor limits. Uncle Hu, with the young man in his arms, arrived at the right place and said they were there. A fire-breathing blue beast appeared from the tall grass. Uncle Hu said they were the ones who came just in time. The formidable warrior, Uncle Hu, drew his sword and fought this terrible monster. He said that only the monster's blood could help the young master. The young man thought it was a motley flame tiger, a level 6 magical beast, equal in strength to the strongest in the void limit. Uncle Hu knew what to do. He decided to finally put the young man back on his feet and cure him of all his ailments. So he destroyed this monster with one blow. This quintessential blood essence of the flame tiger's blood contains an extreme amount of energy. Its concentration is off the charts. It can still be artificially enhanced. But we must be careful not to explode the body. Uncle Hu knew what he was doing. He made the necessary manipulations and improvements and got a high-quality product. Uncle Hu said that this product is of the highest quality. It's unadulterated and told the young man to swallow it. The young man swallowed and observed his sensations. He told his uncle that he could withstand such a concentration of energy. The next moment, the young man felt sick. He vomited. The remnants of the poison were out of his system. The young man got to his feet, lifted his head up, and screamed. Who said that the young man could take it all? After all, he has his mother's blood in him. After a while, Zheng Yu came to his senses and sat down to rest. The young man coughed a little more. Uncle said that he had made it through. And now, he's fine, just as he thought. All thanks to his mother's blood. The quintessence of the monster's blood will also remove the poison from his body. He'll feel its effects soon enough. Uncle Hu said that they had now come to the final stage. He presented a jug to the young man and told him to drink the whole jug of purple carnelian. In fact, there's nothing to drink. After the young man had emptied the jug, he said that he felt better somehow. Before he thought the potion was bitter, but now it tasted good. Uncle said that this is the way it should be. The man added that everyone in his mother's lineage had always liked purple carnelian. Only the young man did not like to drink it. The boy did not taste the potion until 15 years later. The man looked at his nephew and thought maybe he had a bloodline problem. If it were all right, His mother's blood would have made itself known much sooner. Lun Zhengyu proudly stood up with his head held high. The young man said he already thought that he wasn't capable of anything. But thanks to his uncle, he was back on his feet again. The young man declared that he would be back very soon. 1 month passed. Uncle Hu watched his nephew meditate, and raising his level, the young man had reached the limit of communicating with the deities. Uncle Hu praised him. The man said that the young man's body was completely cleansed of poison. The young man raised his hand up and said that with only a month of fighting level 6 monsters, he was completely healthy. The poisoner had clearly not counted on him using this method of detoxification, and as a result, leveling out the effects of the poison on his body. Uncle Hu heaved a sigh of relief. Madam's blood had finally shown up, but there are times when no matter how hard you try, it doesn't happen. The stronger the crown affinity, the more talent it takes to manifest and curb it. Too bad they can't all get together in this backwater, the man thought. It looks like he'll have to leave again, and as soon as possible. The mistress had awakened the bloodline as early as 8 years old. That was why she had reached such heights. There was no need to delay, or his potential would be greatly diminished. The young man excitedly said that now he can get everything back to himself, and he sees no obstacles in his way. Uncle Hu said that they would all be greatly surprised to see a young man in full bloom again. A young man should not regret what he lost there. The Lord has no need to worry about the past. The young man's future awaits him far beyond this small country. The young man asked if Uncle Hu meant that he should go back home and lay low for a while. Uncle said that's the way it is. The young man must return and wait there for 2 years, until he returns. And then, the Lord will rush out, no doubt. Now everyone in town thinks he's weak and infirm. No one knows that he has recovered and is ready to act. The young man thought he could see through Lun Yuan. The young man and his uncle walked back. The young man announced that he was back. The boy walked up to the house. Grandpa walked over to the young man and asked, "Did Zheng Yu come back? Had he recovered?" The young man said there was no change. Grandpa said it's nothing. Then the young man should rest first. He's a little busy right now because he's preparing for the ceremony. Zheng Yu said that he understands everything. After all, Grandpa is the head of the whole family. The guy said he knew he wasn't the only candidate. Therefore, he's okay with it. Grandpa replied that he was tormented by his conscience. Today there will be a ceremony to awaken the bloodline. The grandson said he knows everything and understands the consequences. Today everything in the Lun family will belong to John Fei. The man announced that the initiation ceremony was beginning. Zhen Fei was already present. A fire dragon appeared. Zhen Fei was ready to participate in the ceremony. He stretched his arms out to the sides and shouted. The man said with a smile on his face, he wants his son to turn out to have the strongest bloodline possible. The old man thought that with a warrior's body, he would be much stronger than other cultivators. The bloodline awakening ceremony took a lot of energy, and it took the most energy from Zhen Fei. The golden dragon circled around the young man. The old man thought, what's going on is very far from ideal. The red-haired beauty asked Zheng Yu if he would participate in the ceremony. The young man pretended to be weak and told the girl not to waste her time on him. After all, he is a nobody now. The girl disagreed and said that the gentleman had talent. Suddenly, there was an explosion nearby. Something went wrong. The young man said that the hailfire of heaven technique could only be practiced in bright sunlight. The lady said that the gentleman had been burned by the sun and that he should not torture himself. The young man replied that after darkness always comes dawn. Those present at the ceremony said that Zhen Fei's bloodline was very strong, and supposedly his golden dragon was over 30 meters long. Zhen Fei was very proud. Zheng Yu was quietly in a secluded place having a drink and an appetizer. A cousin approached him. The cousin said that he was in charge here now. Zhen Yu stood up and headed for the exit. Everyone said that he ran away with his tail between his legs. He's a real coward. Zheng Yu thought that the cousin's bloodline had awakened, but he only has the 8th level of the Great Bear limit. Trash always remains trash. The young man went into the library. He thought that next to such a lowlife, he would be able to do his business in peace. All of the Lun family's techniques are hidden in the vault. The young man wondered how he could get there. Suddenly, there was a flash, and an elder appeared in front of the young man. The young man said that the humble Lun Zhengyu wanted to see Elder Lundell. The elder asked why Eot the boy had come here. The young man replied, "This boy wants to find the Lun family's battle techniques. Can he enter the vault to find them?" The old man said promisingly. The Gen generation is allowed to go up to the second floor. The elder performed magical manipulations and opened the passage. He said that the young man could enter. The young man bowed and said boy, thanking the elder. The young man thought that there were many martial techniques in the Heavenly Host Temple, except that he was practicing outside the temple, so they weren't available to him. And this year, he would have been allowed to enter the temple. The young man saw the inscription on one manuscript. It was fireballs. This is a human-level special battle technique after all. Martial techniques are divided into 5 levels: heavenly, earthly, arcane, golden, and human. Each level has a lower, middle, higher, and special techniques. Lun Zhenyu thought that this is perfect. Most of the members of the Lun family have human-level techniques. There are very few gold ones. But this is a special human-level technique, not inferior to the gold ones. How could it just be left on the second floor? The young man took hold of the book and it rang. It appeared that this technique has severe requirements, dangerous to the limit of excitable thoughts and below. Cultivators must be careful. The young man wondered, above the limit of wandering thoughts, would anyone be found who would use this problematic technique? The guy thought to himself, he couldn't think of a better way. Zheng Yu decided that these flame balls were very simple. Suddenly, there was someone knocking on the door. The knocks grew louder. The other side had decided to break down the door. Why did they come now? An elder appeared outside, accompanied by warriors. The stranger said hello to Mr. Lun and said, "How many years? How many winters?" The old man asked, "What brings the head of Wang here?" In the days of the awakening of the bloodline, when everyone is busy, Zhen Fei's father said, "Apparently they came here with a provocation." The guest said, "Congratulations on the successful ceremony of awakening the bloodline." He would like to know the results of their heaven-given genius, possessor of boundless talent. The guest continued, "Although there are no such talents in the Wang family, but it must be recognized that there are also worthy guys among the youth. Therefore, he came for advice." The old man thought that ever since Zheng Yu came back and was disgraced in public, all month long, both the Wang family and other families have been doing nothing but causing trouble. The man said to his opponents, "They themselves know very well what has become of the young man. Are they really going for a conflict on purpose?" The old man said that Zheng Yu had a health problem. He suggested that Mr. Wang come another time. Elder Wang replied that it was a long way to go. They would be very disappointed if they didn't exchange experiences. Old man Wang continued, "Or do his interlocutors want to say that other than Zheng Yu, there are no more worthy youths in Lun village?" Suddenly, Zhen Fei appeared and said that it was him, the worthy representative of the youth of Lun village. He is the hope of this family, and his cousin is just a loser. Zhen Feng fought his cousin and defeated him. After that, the young man repeated that he was the hope of the Lun family. Lun Zhenfei fought with a representative of the Wang family. The battle was not long. The Wang family representative had performed admirably against Lun Zhenfei. The city mayor watching this fight thought that both of these warriors were at the 4th level of the Great Bear limit. It would only take one strong punch for someone to win. Lun Zhenfei, fighting, thought that this was only the lowest level of awakening. The real dragon wasn't there yet. The town leader thought that this was enough for Wang Tianye. The old man thought that the Wang family had hidden their warrior well. The Wang family's warrior had won a convincing victory, Elder Wang announced. Either the Lun family would give up half of everything they had in this village, or they would no longer travel the roads of their town. Lun Zhengyu silently watched from the sidelines as the events that were unfolding in his village. The elder of the Lun family said that he was not afraid of this teenage turtle. If the Wang family has something more serious to put out, they can do it now. Old man Lun said that he could add this to his words, and showed a plaque with the word "Sky" written on it. The old man said that Tianye is an outstanding talent. Next month, he will go to the Heavenly Host Temple to develop. Old man Wang thought, will the opponents still resist after this? Zhen Fei said that he didn't lose. It was impossible. He shouted that he could still fight. Tianye Wang walked up to the young man and said that Zhen Fei was still a long way away from his cousin. The warden noticed someone slip in and disappear. He thought that someone was eavesdropping on the conversation now. The city mayor thought, didn't Zheng Yu become a scum? The young man walked over to the red-haired girl and told Qiu Ye to get ready. They go out. The winner gets everything. It is a matter of time. In a world where strength, that supreme value, being weak, is the ultimate sin. On the way, the young master met a huge green snake. It wanted to harass the young man. The young man did not hesitate and destroyed the reptile. Chu Ye said that the Lord was incredibly strong. The red-haired beauty waved her sword and was very proud of the young man. Zheng Yu said that the girl was doing a good job too. The red-haired beauty was very happy that the young man praised her. The girl announced that she was already level 8 air-hardened, and she was willing to give her life for her master. The young man told the girl not to talk like that. She's like family to him. He doesn't want her to die. The young men looked intently into each other's eyes. The young man activated the Ring of Emptiness and saw a tree growing far away. On it were blood-replenishing apples. It was a level 1 medium miracle medicine. The young man picked as many apples as he could carry and said that they had spent a lot of time in the mountains. He asked if the girl had already gotten used to it. Chu Ye said that she was not afraid of anything when the master was around. The young man offered the girl an apple to eat. He said it would help her get to the 9th level. Night caught the young men in the forest at the foot of the mountain. Someone was secretly sneaking up on the resting Lun Zhengyu. The unknown man was not alone. There were several of them, and they thought they had found a young man. The villains began to surround the camp where Zheng Yu and his companion were resting. The young man woke up and opened his eyes. He could not understand what was happening. Who was in front of him? The villains only laughed in response. The stranger said they live well here, and they've already managed to destroy a bunch of magical beasts. The villains looked into the tent and made sure there was no one there. Suddenly, Qiu Ye ran out of the cave nearby and ran to her master with cries of, "Help! Help!" The girl clung to the young man. He told her not to worry. After all, she had already advanced to the 9th level. The girl cried out in fear that there were 3rd-level monsters in the cave. Zheng Yu told her to let go of his hand first. The villains were scared. Was there really a level 3 monster nearby? They didn't know what they should do. This is the 5th level of the divine communication limit, or even higher. The main and villain said, after all, there are many of them, and they will be able to handle this monster. The young man did not show any concern. Suddenly, a terrifying and horrible level 3 monster appeared from the cave. He was walking accompanied by fire. Everything around him was on fire and burning. The monster was terrifyingly scary. Zheng Yu thought that he was really dangerous. Everyone shouted that this monster was angry. Everyone who can must escape. The young man said that the ferocious fire monkey just had to be so fierce. The young man decided to fight the monster in hand-to-hand combat. The monster missed the powerful blow and, frightened, ran away. The monster was mortally wounded and couldn't run far. The girl asked if her master was all right. Zheng Yu said that this monkey had hit him before he died, and now he is injured. The villain said, but the young man finished off that monster. Zheng Yu said that he wanted to finish with that monkey. The girl offered to dress his wounds. The villains thought that such strong magical beasts usually have treasures hidden in their caves, so they set out to find it. Chu Ye told them not to dare. This fire monkey was destroyed by its master, and he didn't allow the villains to search the cave. The villain walked up to the girl and held her face. He said, again she starts talking about her master. Could it be that she is his girlfriend? The girl screamed for the villain not to touch her. The villain said that her master was hurt and would not be able to protect her. The red-haired beauty said that those villains were ungrateful scoundrels. If it weren't for her master, they would all have died by now at the hands of the fire monkey. Suddenly, something unforeseen happened. One of the villains fell face down. The other villain appeared to be wounded in the neck, and his blood rushed in all directions. Zheng Yu said for them to go away. The villain said the young man was exhausted from the battle with the monkey. He's also wounded. They should all attack him together now. Utilizing his energy capabilities and all-powerful beams, Zheng Yu began to systematically destroy the brigands. The young man asked if there were any others who wanted to try to fight him. The bandits decided to avenge the young man for their comrades. They planned to attack the young man with their swords in front of them. Lun Zhengyu continued to systematically annihilate the brigands. The villains had no chance of surviving. The young man straightened up everyone. The girl ran up to the young man and told him to see to his wounds. Zheng Yu told her not to cry. The young man said he was fine and, having lost consciousness, fell to the ground at the feet of the red-haired beauty. Blood was oozing from his wounds. The girl screamed with fear. She screamed for her master to hold on. After a while, the young man came to his senses. The young man's companion was holding a baby fierce fire monkey. The girl said that the monkey was angry because of the cub. After all, she was protecting him. The girl stroked the little monkey's head and told it to behave, and not to express any aggression towards Mr. Zheng Yu. Zheng Yu asked Qiu Ye what they would do with this beast. The girl offered to keep it for herself. The young man said he didn't think it was a good idea, and asked if she was hurt. The little monkey broke out of the girl's arms and rushed deep into the cave. The girl asked, "Where did she run to?" and followed her. A little monkey came running to the untold treasure that had been amassed by a ferocious fire monkey. It was just as the bandits had predicted. The young man found a secret scroll among the treasures and decided to familiarize himself with its contents. It was like a map. There was a dragon stream marked on the map. The young man said that it was gorgeous. The young man told his companion that this was a map of Dragon Creek. It's the most dangerous place in these mountains, but it's also the richest in treasures and valuables. The young man listened and realized that someone was coming from outside. This someone thought there had been a battle here recently. He saw the dead body of a dead fire monkey. Zheng Yu told his companion to keep quiet. They were no longer alone here now. Many people came up to this cave. There was a horse-drawn cart with them. An elder who was among them suggested that they spend the night there. It was already late in the day. Zheng Yu was frustrated. They should have chosen this particular cave. The young man looked out and saw a man in a wagon. He decided that this was, of all the expedition, the most important. One of the warriors, the chief tracker, walked over to the dying fire and touched the embers. He told his master that the fire had been put out recently. There might be someone else in this cave besides them. The newly arrived guests thought maybe those people hadn't left yet. Then we must find them. Suddenly, another monster appeared in the cave. The warriors who were sent out to find the humans were frightened. Where did this thing come from? It was a horned boa constrictor, a supreme monster of the 3rd level. The warriors ran out of the cave. The baby monkey turned around and ran off in the other direction. The young people decided to follow him. The old man said those warriors were cowards. They ran away right in front of their master. How can you deal with them? Just in case, the old man put his sword forward. Zheng Yu told his companion that these people were moving towards the dragon stream, according to the route on the secret map. So they are the people from the Heavenly Host Temple. The young men caught up with a small monkey. It was sitting on one of the peaks of the nearby mountains. The girl said it was the monkey that saved them. She led them out of the cave, and she probably called that snake. Why else would there be a horned boa constrictor in a fire monkey's cave? The young man said it was the monkey who thought of his companion as his mom. The young man thought, if something happened, the girl wouldn't have the strength to fight the people of the Wang family. He couldn't take her with him. The young man told the red-haired beauty to come back. He still had one more thing to do here. The girl heard a strange sound and told the young man about it. But the young man was already gone. The thing Zheng Yu wanted to do was to return something. The treasure of the fire monkey had been misappropriated by the people who had come to stay in this cave for the night. The young man had been following this expedition for many days. They walked along the dragon stream. According to the records of the Heavenly Host Temple, the dragon stream is so called because a great dragon fell into it. His remains disappeared without a trace. 100 years of searching proved futile. The young man thought that it was unlikely that they were going there because of Wan Tianye, which means they were going there because of him. The expedition continued along the established route. The young man continued to watch them. The elder sensed something wrong and told everyone to prepare their weapons. Zheng Yu thought that this old man was behaving very differently from the time he had a run-in with the boa constrictor. The old man wasn't wrong. Before the expedition, a huge monster appeared from behind the mountain. It was a dragon ape. The fierce fire ape was no match for the dragon ape. That's the power of the dragon stream. That's the one with a lot of dragon bloodline. One of the warriors smirked and said that the monster in front of him was just some little monkey. He swung around and threw a concentrated charge of energy at this monster. The young man thought that it was a divine warrior. The monkey received this energy blob and unnaturally glowed. The monster was stunned. The young man thought that this man was monstrously strong. The old man told the master that there seemed to be nothing here. The master replied that he understood a lot. If it was on the surface, the temple of the heavenly host would have found it long ago. The monster was lying there bleeding. The master held his pearl of victory in his hands. Zheng Yu thought that he had pulled this pearl from the body of a defeated monster. They don't have such pearls in their country. Surely the heavenly host temple must have had a hand in this. The old man asked the master if the dragon had really fallen here. The master said that of course it had. The temple of the heavenly host had been searching for it for many years. Unfortunately, the remains of this legendary dragon have been safely hidden. The master released the pearl from his hand, and it flew and pointed to a place. The man said it was here. The old man objected that this place was empty. Suddenly, there was an explosion and something unusual shone in the sky. The master thought that this was where the real dragon stream had been hidden all this time. Everyone saw a real dragon stream and shouted, "Long live the great master!" The master said he thought the treasure was in this cave. And he told the warriors to go ahead. The warriors were frightened and said there seemed to be someone inside. They added that the master needed to see it immediately. Zheng Yu entered the cave and thought it was safe. He could smell a pleasant odor. There were definitely treasures inside. He thought that they were nasty treasures. The master followed his warriors. They discovered the remains of the dragon ahead. The warriors shouted that they had found a great treasure. The dragon's remains were floating in a red liquid. It looked like blood. Zheng Yu, looking out from behind cover, thought that the legendary dragon was indeed here. The young man sensed something wrong. Suddenly, the dragon opened its eye. Everyone thought it couldn't be. The dragon came to life, lifted himself above the water, and opened his dragon maw. He bared his terrible, sharp teeth. Everyone cried out in fear that the dragon had come to life. The master shouted that it wasn't a dragon at all. It's just a magical beast that lives here. It lives inside the dragon skeleton. The master ordered the warriors to pounce and destroy it. Suddenly, all the warriors began to die. Ice growths of huge size began to pierce through all the warriors. Blood was everywhere. Zheng Yu watched from his hiding place as everyone who was near the magic beast died. The young man thought that this monster only needed one strike to wipe everyone out. The young man pointed out that not everyone had died. But now there were only 4 of them left. The dragon struck the master with its deadly weapon as well. The master was nailed to an icy rock. He coughed but held on. The young man thought, no wonder he's so strong. After all, it's the power of dragon bones. The master said he was not to be intimidated and had something. The master pulled out a small sword that fit in the palm of his hand. There was no craftsman in their state who could make another such magnificent piece. The young man thought that destroying this monster would be worth it. The master said to let the old man and the warrior beside him buy him time. The master added that he saw no other way. The old man drew his sword and prepared to resist this magical monster. The master thought, what kind of lowlifes are accompanying him? They can't even handle simple tasks. The man applied a magic ritual and told the monster to die immediately. The monster burst into flames. The old man was amazed. This monster was really alive and was growing inside the dragon skeleton. The old man added that 100 years from now, it would be a real dragon. He told the Grand Master that it was a rare specimen. The master agreed and said he was fine with it. The reward for him would be enormous. Now, it all belongs to him. And laughed. Suddenly, Zheng Yu appeared behind this master. He swung at the man with the intention of delivering a staggering blow. The young man punched the master and inflicted a bloody wound on his back. The man, coughing up blood, asked in surprise how he dared to attack him from the back. Didn't he know who he was dealing with? The young man said that he had done nothing wrong. However, the temple of the heavenly host had dealt with him cruelly and unfairly. The young man added that he would destroy that master now and would not cry for him. Zheng Yu massacred the man. He triumphantly towered over the breathless body. The old man was frightened and said that they had done nothing wrong to the young man, and asked him to let them go. The young man said they turned to the temple of the heavenly host to help them destroy his family. And after that, they would ask for mercy? The old man said the young man had better not force him to fight him, or he would destroy him. Zheng Yu wondered, how could the old man be sure to carry out his threat? All he has in his arsenal is just a handful of cold wind, a low-level technique. The young man confronted the old man, and using his energy capabilities, caused irreparable damage to his opponent. The old man shouted that he had injured his arm. The old man's companion shouted that he would immediately destroy Lun Zheng Yu. The warrior said that his rival had grown up, and everyone had forgotten that he was once a small, weak turtle. He added that to him. He remained like that. Zheng Yu continued to massacre the old man. The elder's mouth was bleeding, and his chest was on fire. The young man said now it was the opponent's turn. The old man added that the young man would not get away with his death. The temple of the heavenly host will not let it go, and the young sovereign would not let it go. The young man asked. He was the one who should thank him for that poison, wasn't he? The boy added that he was the one who would not leave the temple of the heavenly host alone. Zheng Yu pressed on the old man's wound. The old man cried out loudly in pain. The old man laughed and said, "Does he really think he can overpower the sovereign? He will destroy the young man. It's just a pity that it's not right now. His abilities are the rarest on earth. They're a gift from heaven. This young man is no match for him." The young man said that it was the old man who was talking too much and pushed him to the ground. The old man fell face down. The boy added that he need not worry. His sovereign would join him soon. This is just the beginning. Zheng Yu stood near the blood river and noticed that he could smell a strong odor. The young man looked up and saw the stalactites. Liquid was dripping from them. The young man set up a bowl and took a drop of this liquid. The young man tasted this liquid. He felt a change happen inside him. The guy noticed that he could walk on air. That's the limit of wandering thoughts. His wounds healed and his level rose to the limit of wandering thoughts. The young man thought that in one sip, he had gotten a huge breakthrough in his development. What kind of magic potion is this? Zheng Yu remembered that he had seen records of the milk of eternity in the books of the heavenly host temple. The young man thought that his power was so great. He had not yet awakened his bloodline. If he added this priceless milk and the legendary dragon's blood lake to everything he already had, it would be a sin to miss this opportunity. The young man assumed the lotus posture, seated himself in the middle of the blood river, and began to meditate. He did not miss this opportunity. His wounds were finally healed, and he moved to another level. The people in the city saw a strange atmospheric phenomenon. A huge beam of light pierced the sky and went straight to the ground. They realized that something strange was happening in the sky. "We must quickly tell the town governor about it." The young man felt a terrible pain. He realized that he was about to reach his limit. The fire dragon that appeared beside Zheng Yu took its rightful place behind him. The young man tried to put what he had achieved into practice. He fought a powerful beast. In the forest, he cut down trees with a single movement of his hand. The young man said that a level 4 beast couldn't even withstand a single hit. The limit of wandering thoughts, that's something special. The young man noticed that other warriors were coming to the place. He thought it was someone from the temple of the heavenly host again. Did they really come for the dragon's corpse? Zheng Yu thought it was getting too crowded and decided to return home. As he flew up to the house, the young man saw a red-haired beauty waiting for him on the lawn. The girl saw him and shouted Q. Ye was very worried. She clung to the young man and said that something eerie had been happening in the mountains for the past 2 days. She was afraid that something had happened to the master. She was even going to go looking for him. The young man said it was all right, he came safe and sound. The girl said they were going home, and she would prepare horses for that purpose. The young man replied that it was not necessary. The young man took the girl in his arms and jumped up. They flew home through the air. The young people carried on over the forests and fields. The young man continued to hold the girl in his arms. Ahead of them, he heard the sounds of battle. The birds flying near them also smelled something. The young people saw that it was the Lun family's house on fire. The girl screamed in fear. The villains who started the fire were triumphant. The old man said that the mighty Lun family turned out to be nothing. A warrior from the heavenly host temple said that he would take the head of the Lun family with him today. Suddenly, there was an explosion. It was Zheng Yu who appeared. The heavenly host temple warriors asked who was in front of him. The young man said, he is the one who will destroy the villain now. And he struck his rival a crushing blow. The villain thought his opponent was very fast. How could he have so much strength? The young man decided to deliver the final blow. He used the golden bell, a high-level technique. The young man thought it was so strong that it was only slightly cracked from the hard blow. Zheng Yu said, now it's clear whose handiwork this is. If one hit isn't enough, he'll hit again. And his opponent won't last long. The heavenly host temple warrior said that he had no time and pulled out a magic weapon. The young man looked at the aftermath of the golden bell. The bell itself was crumbling. The The warrior of the Heavenly Host Temple said that he was about to destroy his opponent and used a magic weapon. The town governor was nearby due to his duty. He thought that the Heavenly Host Temple was a scary place. If this madness continues, even the strongest celestials will have to be protected. There was a powerful energy blast, and the young man flew far back. The Heavenly Host Temple warrior thought that he had only used such a powerful artifact for nothing. The warrior turned to the head of the Lun family and said if anyone was to blame, it was only his grandson. Everything that happened here would remain on his conscience. It's a shame that the bloodline will be interrupted here and now. The warrior was terribly surprised and received an equally powerful energy blast. Blood flowed from the wound and from his mouth. Zheng Yu said that all the people from the Heavenly Host Temple are quite arrogant. The young man added that the bowl of emptiness with the golden bell technique is a great thing. After activating the bloodline, Lun Zhengyu obtained the ability contained within the dragon scales, namely invisibility. Another warrior appeared in the sky. It was Song Lian from the Heavenly Host Temple. This warrior was surprised that they couldn't handle the young man. He thought that only by using the Void Bowl to its fullest would they be able to contain him. He didn't understand what this young man was. This warrior suffered the same fate as the previous one. He was also struck and pierced through. The young man thought that first they destroyed his home. Then they destroyed his family. So now the young man wants them to answer with their blood. The young men at the edge of the forest were seated around a fire. They looked at the fire in silence. The old man, leaning on his grandson, said it was all because of him. The elder apologized and said that if it weren't for him, their family would have died long ago. The young man said that the past remains in the past. From now on, he is part of the Lun family. Before the young man and his grandfather arose the cup of emptiness, the carnelian of eternity. The old man said that every drop of eternity carnelian is worth its weight in gold. And the young man has so much of it. The young man said that he found this cup while searching the man from the Heavenly Host Temple after the battle. With this cup, their family will be invincible. The old man agreed and said it was bound to happen, and a stingy manly tear ran down his cheek. The temple of the Heavenly Host, a majestic structure. The ruler is sitting in the temple. He asked how 3 strong fighters with his sword amulet could not defeat one Lunya. The leader said they're all of them, lowlifes, and he wouldn't count on them next time. The old man complained. He said that eyewitnesses said that Sun Lian had hit Lun with that sword as hard as he could, but still couldn't defeat him. Something is not right here. The leader thought, even if the cum poison didn't kill him, getting rid of it wouldn't be that easy. But the Lone family can't be left alive. The leader said he was giving the commander 6 sword amulets. They are to break into pairs and act. The strong fighters said that the Lord must be sure that they would wipe the Lun family off the face of the earth. The leader said he now wondered, would Lun Zhengyu be able to cheat fate this time? The civilians were in the forest. The closest thing to the Heavenly Host Kingdom was the strongest state of Feiyu. Zheng Yu said that he would wait until everyone had a good rest. Then, they would go there with the Emperor's men. The Heavenly Host Temple's influence wasn't supposed to spread there. The old man asked, would they be able to let them go quietly? The young man said he could set a trap to attract them. It's a special technique for practicing breathing. Everyone can use it to improve themselves. The old man said that it can't be like this. It turns out that a person with this technique can come face to face with the people of the Heavenly Host Temple. A young man showed how fire could be activated on an empty space. Everyone said it was incredible. The young man explained that it was another ability that manifested with the awakening of the clan's blood. With it, one can freely control the flames. The skill is granted by the sky. The old man said that this young man was their only hope. He is proud of his grandson. The grandson and grandfather hugged each other. The grandson told the grandfather to be calm. With this technique, he could have no doubts about his abilities. The grandfather asked his grandson to promise him that he would stay alive anyway. The grandson promised. The young man said that he would definitely survive while spilling the blood of the Heavenly Host Temple, and almost the memory of the departed people of the Dragon Clan. The young man said that he would be at Lunyuan City in 2 days. They too would be able to leave the Heavenly Host Kingdom. Some time passed. The red-haired beauty was having fun with the little fire monkey. The girl called the monkey Xiao Hong and asked if he was hungry. Xiao Hong was always hungry. The girl said it wouldn't work. She would only give him a drop of milk a day and no more. The girl said that she was proud of her Xiao Hong. The drink of eternal energy couldn't save many lost travelers, and he continues to drink it every day. What a good master he has. The girl heard someone ask what she had against his master. The red-haired beauty was very happy when she saw the young man return. The boy asked her why she was awake. It was already so late. Suddenly, the young man pulled out a dagger and pierced the man who was hiding nearby with it. The boy thought it was a scout who had come to find out the location of the Dragon Clan. This continues even after half a month. Zheng Yu said that they couldn't stay here anymore. The girl was scared. The young people said goodbye again. Chu Ye said that it was very dangerous to go there alone. The young man said there was nothing he couldn't do. He asked her to trust him. The young man asked if the girl wanted to go to Feiyu or stay with him. The young lady replied that she belonged to the master. Where the master goes, she will follow. The young man told her to wait for him here tomorrow. He would come for her as soon as he was done with his business. Lunyuan City. The opponent asked, how did Lun Zhengyu dare to come back? Could it be that he was seeking his doom? The young man activated the gift of the sky. Everyone asked what it was. Zheng Yu said to all the people from the Heavenly Host Temple to show him favor and disappear from his path, because Lun Zhenyu had returned. The local warriors said that this young man is too brazen and misleads people. We should take this brat's life. The other warrior told them not to be deceived. This young man could easily fight each of them. They were no match for him. We must wait for Fang Shi. Suddenly, Zhen Yu was in close proximity to these warriors. The warriors scattered in fear. The young man asked where they were going. The frightened warriors shouted that this young man was too strong. They urgently need a magic sword. When did this boy become so strong? The boy thought he possessed a great treasure. On this occasion, the young man regretted that his opponents were too weak. One of the young man's rivals thought not only was he incredibly strong, but he also belonged to the Mao Shan dragon bloodline. The young man stood, towering over everyone. He said that the Heavenly Host Temple's magic weapons and soldiers were nothing. Those below thought that this young man had clearly gone beyond the limits of his sanity. The young man asked, did these people from their temple really have nothing else? The young man was still much stronger than the Heavenly Host. How could this be possible? Zheng Yu asked, were they really planning to run away from him? He found it very pathetic. The guy shouted that they were all very weak and would soon die. Suddenly, a local warrior, Wu Shibao, appeared. He thought, how is this possible? How did this young man manage to get rid of two powerful 8th step warriors so easily? Lun Zhengyu smiled. He said that there were a couple more fearless ones who had come to their doom. The magical weapon girl from the Heavenly Host Temple told this young man not to be arrogant. Her flame is very strong, but it doesn't harm her in any way. Therefore, the opponent should be afraid of her. Another girl from the same temple asked what had happened here. She wondered where Wu Shibao and the others were. Her colleague said it's over. This young man is incredibly strong. You have to be careful with him. The formidable youth asked, did the Heavenly Host Temple have no one left? Why did they send such weaklings? They could return and let their master die in peace. Wu Shibao became angry and shouted, how dare the rival dare to talk about the young master? After all, he was nothing of himself. The warrior used the Leviathan rod. The old man was astonished. How was the young man able to stop such a quick strike with his body? This is simply monstrous. This Lun should be eliminated as soon as possible. The old man told his colleague Chen Yao to act very quickly. The girl said that she knew. They both decided to use magic weapons at the same time. The young man said it was unbelievable. To repel the attack, the young man used a breathing technique. Everything around him caught fire. Zheng Yu held in his hand his rival's hands. He asked if it belonged to her, and added that one should take good care of one's limbs. The young man threw those limbs to the injured rival. Wu Shibao was surprised. Their opponent was using the gift of the sky, in defiance of the sky itself. If they didn't get rid of it, it would lead to terrible consequences. The old man from the Heavenly Host Temple said that everything was tending towards the end. He swung his magic weapon and said that the young man was about to die. The man was still showing his superiority. He said that they could keep attacking, but they wouldn't last long. Wu Shibao shouted to deprive him of his last strength. Lun Zhengyu wondered, how could they rob him of his last strength? After all, he has a lot of them, but they can try to do it. The opponents could not accept what the young man was doing. They knew he was impossible to handle, and they didn't know how to report it to their superiors. The opponents decided to scatter in fear. The young man asked, "Were they really in a hurry to go somewhere?" Wu Shibao found himself destroyed. Our hero asked, "Was it really worth it?" As a result, all the rivals were destroyed. The leader in the temple of the heavenly host was outraged. How could this be possible? His warriors are worthless scum. They're just a bunch of trash. The subordinates told their young master to calm down. After all, no one could even imagine that Lun Zhengyu was capable of destroying the 6 elders. The leader thought that rumors of their deaths must have already spread. He cursed. He wanted to think of a way in which he could get rid of the obnoxious young man. He was afraid that the reputation of the heavenly host temple would be lost. The leader decided to send Elder Jia away now so he wouldn't leave a trace behind. Elder Jia appeared in front of the young master. The leader said as he greeted Elder Jia. The elder immediately showed his abilities. The girls shouted and asked him to stop. The young master thought that the elder's skill had only improved. The elder asked, "Does the master really want to force him to destroy that young man?" The old man said that he would fulfill this for the young master. But only after that, the young man must allow him to enter the world of gods and men. The young man thought, "Is the old man putting conditions on him? He's being sly." The leader said he would fulfill the old man's conditions. Only he had to fulfill his assignment. The young man sat on the battlefield. It had been 3 hours, he thought. He did not know where the others had gotten to. Lun Zhenyu thought that the sent warriors from the Heavenly Host Temple should have already shown up. Elder Jia appeared behind the young man. He said that this daredevil was too careless. Wonder how he still had the courage to stay here. The young man immediately jumped to his feet and activated the golden bell. The bell rang, and the whole place burst into flames. The old man said that he was good at this spell, but it still couldn't withstand fire well. The boy thought that one could easily get hurt by this spreading poison. It would corrode even a bell. The old man was unstoppable. The young man was surprised. He didn't feel his presence at all. At what speed does this old man move? There, he disappeared again. Elder Jia appeared again, but in a different place. He said that the young man's reaction was not bad, but just because he dodged once didn't mean he would have luck the next time. The young man continued to dodge the elder's attacks. The boy wondered how much longer he would be able to dodge him. At this rate, he would soon be completely enveloped by this fog. We need to make the old man show his face again. The boy thought, what kind of magic does the heavenly host have? The young man, upon reflection, realized it's all about shadowy kinship. He knows how to fight it. The young man thought that he could use it to merge his body with the shadow. The old man has no attacking abilities. He can only swiftly change the location of his body to the shadow body. Zheng Yu said that in that case, one should completely burn out this old man's shadow. The old man said that it was all useless. Even though the young man had guessed that he had a bloodline with the shadow bat, he still wouldn't be able to detect it. The young man said all you need is a flame. The shadow will appear immediately. He's right, isn't he? The young man added that the old man should not play with fire. Otherwise, he might burn himself. The old man was frightened and indignant. Could this fellow really even burn a shadow? The elder said that the young lord would not dare to touch him. Otherwise, the young master would not spare him for anything. The young man laughed back and said that they would see about that. Who will spare whom? And he kicked the old man in the jaw. The old man shouted that the young man was being arrogant, although he didn't understand the situation at all. The young man, as always in such cases, activated the protective dome. But the dome could not withstand the onslaught. The young man thought, how come the protective dome suddenly couldn't even withstand a single blow? The old man once again said that the young man was overconfident. Before fighting him, he didn't want to find out anything. Elder Jia added that he could discreetly inject poison into the young man's body. After all, he was one of the first to pass the bloodline of the Shadow Bat. The poison energy and his natural energy are one and the same. Right now, the old man is waiting for the traces of his rival's poisoning to show. The young man did not react in any way to the poisoning. The old man wondered how he could endure such poison. After all, he is only at a negligible level of astral travel. The old man added that it was necessary to have warriors, each with a natural gift. He is ready to reveal the truth to the young master. To oppose the temple of the heavenly host is a foolish venture. and he said he was ready to escort the young man to heaven. The old man dodged and stabbed his sword through Lun Zhengyu's body. The young man was bleeding out. The old man said that the young man was resilient. It was a pity, but no one could save him now. Lun Zhenyu stood on his feet, holding on with his last strength. Suddenly, there was a huge flash in front of him. The young man saw his grandfather appear in front of him. The boy could not stand and fell to his knees. The grandfather regretfully said that the young man was suffering a lot. The grandfather said that the Lun family is in trouble. Can he take it all on the young man? The leader of the warrior temple appeared and said that in that case, he would send both of them, the old man and the young man, on their final journey. Two giants appeared in front of the old man and young Lun. The old man thought that the temple of the heavenly host was raising such monsters. They are related to snakes and kites by blood. However, they are still on the level of astral travel. Elder Jia thought that old man Lun shouldn't have come back to be killed, and he shouldn't blame anyone for being ruthless. Elder Lun decided to resist these monsters. He was afraid that he might die this way today. Tears appeared in the young man's eyes. The old man activated his fire dragon. The old man said, because his grandson knows real men don't cry. This is his lesson as a member of the Lun family, and he will accept it. However, the next generation of the Lun family should never bow their heads over it, even if he dies. The old man drew his sword and said that he had to pave the way for his grandson's sake. The old man leaned on his sword and continued to bleed. The leader of the Heavenly Host Temple thought that this old man had left his successor behind. Who would have thought it? The old man began to threaten. He said that the rival must let his grandson go. Otherwise, he would lose his hand. The leader of the Heavenly Host Temple said he was willing to see which one of them would prove to be faster. The grandfather and his grandson lay on the ground defeated. The grandfather was bleeding. The young man felt cold. He couldn't see anything. The young man called out to his grandfather. The boy opened his eyes, tears streaming down his cheeks. Lun Zhengyu couldn't figure out where he was. The young man heard some talking in the next room. He realized from the voice that it was a girl talking. The door to the room opened and a stranger appeared on the threshold. She stared intently at the young man. It was Ho Ling Er. The young man was in the Heaven's Gift Palace. Lun Zhenyu still didn't understand what was going on. The girl asked, who was he? Why did her father save him? The guy was surprised too. Who was her father? And why did he save him? The girl continued. If it wasn't for her father, the young man would have died long ago. The young man said he wanted to know her father's name. And introducing himself, he said his name was Lun Zhengyu, and added that he was willing to repay the savior with kindness. The red-haired interlocutor said her father, the master of the palace, a gift from heaven. Ho Savan, the young man thought, is this really the city of Jalan? The heavenly gift palace is built in this city. What is there? Spiritual army, miracle medicines, martial arts. Ho Ling Er asked the young man, he is not mad with fear, is he? A man came into the room and said that the girl should be polite. The girl called the man her father. The young man bowed and said that young Lun Zhengyu was paying a visit to the palace master of the Heavenly Gift Palace. The man said that there was no need for these ceremonies, although he had received his Uncle Hu's assignment, but in the end, he was late and couldn't save the young man's grandfather. The young man thought, is his Uncle Hu the master? A servant burst into the room and told the gentleman that the people from the faction, Eternal Youth, had come again. The man was angry. Mr. Ho Savan asked, why did they come? The servant said fearfully, they say they have come to matchmake. The master of the house became even more angry. The man told Zheng Yu to have a good rest here while he went and met the guests. The young man said that if the need arose, he would be ready to fulfill any errand of the master of the house. Ho Savan said as he left the room that he had heard the young man's wish. The daughter says her daddy should take the initiative for her. She doesn't want to marry a man from the Eternal Youth faction. The man agreed. After all, those people are not at all suitable for her capable daughter. The young man thought that the day would come when he would avenge his grandfather. He just had to be strong enough. After a while, the young man recovered and came to his senses. He decided to observe this city from the outside. Climbing onto the roof of a neighboring house, he looked over the town square. This was indeed the city of Jialan. There were various rumors in the city. A young man heard that the head of the Eternal Youth faction had taken concubines. Another person said that he had heard it too. All those beautiful like a flower, the concubines had been captured. The young man saw Chu Ye among the concubines. The girl's hands and mouth were tied. The second head of the Eternal Youth faction, Malwoji, approached the master of the Heaven's Gift Palace. He asked the man to give him his daughter as his wife, and he promised to spend his life with her. All he needed was Ho Shiwang's consent. The girl thought, who would agree to marry such a fat groom? The groom was upset. After all, he had already lost 2.5 kilograms. Mr. Ho Suwon said he can't stand useless people. He would never force his daughter to marry a scum like that. If he wants to marry his daughter, he has to show his real ability. Mr. Ho Sivan put his guest, Lun Jung-yu, forward and told the fat groom, if he defeats this young man, then so-and-so will give his daughter for him. Malads rejoiced and said, is father-in-law telling the truth? Ho Sivan was upset and asked, had this ignorant man not been taught not to call people by any name? The fat groom possessed an 8th stage astral traveling level. He told his opponent that he was ready to start the fight. Lun Jung-yu said, offering his opponent 3 strikes. If he loses, he'll never come here again. He will also release all the captured concubines. The opponent agreed. The groom thought that one way or another, he had been given 3 strikes. He would definitely win this fight. The groom purred and said, meow. The young man realized that he was related to the wild cat. He threw the first punch. The young man deftly bounced aside. The groom thought that his opponent was very fast. Who would have thought that he would be able to dodge his phantom right paw? His opponent told the young man that he couldn't be that fast next time. And spinning in place, he kicked up a column of dust. Lun Jung-yu stood still. The cat's opponent was nowhere to be seen. The people watching thought, what kind of dog tricks are these? Malwoji said that this time, the opponent would definitely not be able to dodge. Lun Jung-yu saw the cat jump towards him, and once again was able to dodge the blow. The suitor is upset. He hasn't hit once and he has no more moves. What should he do? He won't be able to marry Lin Er. Lun Jung-yu asked, is his opponent not at the 8th step of the astral traveling level? Who would have thought that he would turn out to be so weak? The head of the Heaven's Gift Palace said, those who have a bloodline with the wild cat have a battle technique of support. Fighting one-on-one is their weakness. Malwoji apparently is the kind of person who can only arrogantly say stupid things. The man added, why did he think a man like him could marry his daughter? The unsuccessful bridegroom turned to his rival and asked him to be his teacher. He said that he would follow the young man everywhere, and in the future, he would be able to do great things. And after that, he would marry Lin Er. The servant said that the young man had just destroyed the reputation of the Eternal Youth faction. The young man suggested to his opponent to get up first. He said if he liked to play, he should be able to pay. And he must never again come to the palace of the Gift of Heaven to woo. And he must release all the captive concubines. Malwoji said he didn't understand what concubines he was talking about. He hasn't captured anyone. That's because he only loves Ling Er. Lun Jung-yu said that today, the Eternal Youth faction walked down the street with pomp, carrying the faction leader's fiancée on a stretcher. Malwoji said, this is definitely his work. Is he once again using his name as a cover, doing terrible things? The servants said that the physician brought by young Master Ye said that the Elder Lord's illness could only be cured by sacrificing a young girl. Ho Sivan said, that's just absurd. The man was outraged. The head of the Heavenly Gift Palace thought that that old man had gotten to the point where he believed all sorts of false rumors and was willing to ruin the life of an innocent girl. Lun Zhenyu said that the Eternal Youth faction had captured his maid. She needs to be rescued urgently, the young man said as he bowed out. The leader of the Eternal Youth faction, Yatong, looked at the girl and smiled. He found this girl very beautiful. Just like the young master said, this old man was easy to fool. Malwoji said that his Shan family usually has a big guard, and they are very secretive. If there are no road signs, you can easily fall into a trap. Only his father knows the hidden road. You can't go up the mountain even if you go straight. Lun Zhenyu asked, what should one do in such a case? He didn't expect that his maid had already been dragged to the mountain for cultivation. The fat man told the young man not to worry. His father was also deceived. He's actually a very soft-hearted man. Now there's only one way out. The young man said to participate in their group's event, a treasure hunt. The man was explaining the conditions of the event. He talked about the fees, and about how there are many different monsters in these mountains. The young man said he was in. The fat man stated that he had prepared clothes for going up the mountain and everything necessary for it. We should wait until early morning and start climbing. The young men were sitting in the tavern. They saw a man fall down the steps. There was a green-haired girl standing upstairs. She said that this reckless rascal dare not molest her. The man wept and begged the mistress to have mercy on him. The girl told him to get out and stay out of her sight. The fat man, on seeing the girl, jumped for joy and said it was his cousin Nana. The girl was surprised. What was he doing here? The fat man was also surprised by his cousin's reaction. Cousin Nana pounced on Lun Zhengyu and called him a shameless traitor. She said that she didn't expect him to dare appear in front of her. The entrance to the mountain appeared before the young men and other travelers. The fat man gently asked his companion what had happened between him and his cousin. The young man replied that nothing had happened between them. The girl once again called the young man a shameless scoundrel. Lun Zhengyu told the girl that Miss Liu had criticized him many times. But why not tell her when and how they met? The girl said he couldn't go a day without remembering it. She would reproach him 10,000 times for it. At another resting place in the dark, near the fire, the fat man said they were halfway through a foggy area. Fatty added that the trail is quite dangerous. Over time, it could change. But luckily, he had stolen this wonderful map from his father's library. Otherwise, he doesn't know how long they would have wandered aimlessly. The young men noticed that the girl was going somewhere. The fat man asked where the sister was going. The young person said that after a long journey, she was going for a swim. Lun Zhengyu said it's dangerous here, and they could leave at any moment. The green-haired girl, without turning her head, said that this was not for him to decide. The young men saw many red lights in the night forest. The fat man thought, what could it be? Ma Liji told the young man to look for his sister, and here he would handle it himself. Looking out from behind the bushes, the young man saw a young lady. She was splashing in the water. The young lady asked him what he was doing here. The young man asked the girl to get dressed. He turned away out of politeness. Nana got dressed and turned her attention to the red lights along with the young man. It was something strange. The young man said that it had been a long time since he had used the heavenly purple flame skill, so he decided to test it now. The young man aimed his purple flame at this strange spider monster with glowing red lights. The girl was frightened and clung to the young man. He asked, isn't she at the 9th level of the Suan Gon realm? Why is she afraid of a beast that isn't even at the 9th level cultivator stage? Nana replied that wasn't the point. She's been afraid of creepy crawlies since she was a child. They make her hair stand on end. The young man took the girl in his arms and said, he wants to see how many spiders the monster can release. The spiders burned in the flames. The huge monster spider released a green slime in the direction of the young men. The young man with the girl in his arms jumped upwards. The girl screamed for the guy not to dare use the situation to touch her. The young man said it was time to finish off this monster and pulled out a magic sword. The young men flew even higher. The young man pointed his magic sword straight at the spider monster. The monster with red eyes appeared to be destroyed. The fat man said that he had already destroyed all of them for his part. The young man discovered a strange green thing. He wondered what it was. The fat man took out an encyclopedia from his father's office and said he would check it out now. Maliji stated that this is very strange. The book only says that this thing is called Chuan Yang Shuo, but its properties and uses are not mentioned. This is the first time he has encountered such a thing. Half an hour passed. At last, the young men managed to get out of the foggy area. The fat man declared that he was very tired. The girl who was walking last slipped and fell. The fat man rushed to his cousin and asked what was wrong. The girl said she felt strange. There was weakness all over her body. Maladza said that in that case he would carry her. They are almost at the top. The girl wondered. Could the fat man really carry her? In the end, the fat man walked alone. Lun Zhengyu carried the girl in his arms. They continued to climb up the mountain. Suddenly, the local population showed up to meet the young people. Everyone was coming down the mountain and doing it very fast. A young man grabbed the hand of one traveler and asked why everyone was running away. The frightened man said they should run away from there quickly, otherwise they might lose their lives. The young men looked ahead and saw huge bright flashes appearing somewhere ahead behind the trees. The fatty looked at the map. After crossing this valley, there will be a place where his father usually cultivates. Also, this is the way to the top of the mountain, just after leaving the misty region. The young men looked out from behind the bushes and saw a strange carnage ahead. There were armed men there, and there were decapitated bodies lying on the ground. The leader of the armed men, hiding his face, asked if there was any other suicide bomber willing to cross this path. The men with guns asked who was standing in front of them. This mountain belongs to the Changchun family. They paid to climb the mountain and cultivate. Who gave the right to block this path? The leader laughed and said, even if the leader of the Changchun family is still alive, he will die soon. The head took off his headdress and added that this mountain now belonged to them. Malodza saw that it was Yetong. He shouted indignantly, "What did this rascal do to his father?" Lun Zhengyu grabbed the fat man and pulled him aside. He told the man to calm down. The fat man said, he should make the man pay. The young man told the fat man to take his time. After all, there were only two men, and they might not be able to meet the enemy face to face. Fatty asked, what are they going to do? He doesn't know what's wrong with his father and Qiuye now. The young men returned to the girl. She was still sitting near the tree, exhausted. Ma Loji said the girl probably poisoned herself. Lun Zhengyu looked at her hands and said, his sister's iron spider bloodline is awakening. She is already at the 9th level of the divine realm. And it's time for her to awaken. He doesn't know why she didn't awaken earlier. It must be because of the recent run-in with the giant spider. Nana suddenly got to her feet and began squirming in pain. The girl began to awaken. Her body began to undergo strange transformations. The young man grabbed the girl's hand. He said she might not be able to take it. He would have to use his strength to help her awaken. The girl fell to her knees and screamed loudly. Strange outgrowths that looked like spider legs appeared on her back. The young man bounced to the side. Itan saw a beam of light appear somewhere in the depths of the forest, pointing up into the sky. The man said, as far as he knows, only bandits rob people in the middle of the roads. Is he any different from them? Ye Tong said that it had been a long time since they had seen Zheng Yu. Last time, the young man managed to escape from Elder Jia's hands, but now he had given himself away. The young man said that he couldn't believe that it was someone from the Heavenly Martial Hall. Ye Tong asked, what realm had the young man reached? He just managed to destroy some worthless monsters and drank some spiritual elixir. Does he really think he's an opponent? Zhen Yu said he didn't say he would fight alone. Next to him beside him were a spider girl and a fat cat. Ye Tong said in that case they would all die together. He ordered his servants to attack them. Everyone paid attention as the spider girl picked up that green thing. She tried to activate it. The girl asked if the old man had ever heard of 100 nets. Everyone present was surprised. The girl suggested to her opponent to ask her people, how pleasant is it? Ye Tong saw this and became very frightened. His warriors were entangled in a spider's web. The web was very strong. Lun Zhenyu activated his energy capabilities, and a fiery flame appeared in front of him. Ye Tong said, this is an amazing talent. It is not like the bloodline of the dragon family of Longyuan City. Rather, it's more like an almost extinct bloodline. This is the bloodline of the 9 dragons. Itone added, does the opponent really think that's it? Everyone saw magical red crystals begin to appear in front of the old man. The armed men thought they were stone golems. Legend has it that stone golems are guardians, world crushers who hide in the dry years, in the evergreen mountains. Could it be that they have been destroyed? Fatty said, maybe these are the world crushers? He added that his father was fooled by Ye Tong. But that won't happen to him. The Catman added that he would skin that one, even if he had to die today. Ye Tong said about his opponents that each of them was only at the 9th level of the Wandering Thoughts limit. If Ma Luoji wanted to fight him, he would destroy him quickly and painlessly. The man-cat lunged at the villain with fury in his eyes and said he would destroy him. One of the guards punched the fat man. The young man flew aside, crashing into a rock. Ye Tong said his father, a fool. The son, a waster. This mountain can only prosper if it is placed in the hands of a man like him. The young man told Ye Tong to let his father go. Ye Tong said that the young man may not worry. His father might still be alive. Ye Tong regretfully said that he hadn't had a chance to enjoy it yet, but he would do so soon. Lun Zhengyu couldn't tolerate such lawlessness anymore. He said that he would destroy Ye Tong now and attacked him. His huge warrior appeared in front of the master. He set up a blockage and protected Yi Tong from the young man's attack. Yi Tong laughed. He said that even 100 people like this young man wouldn't be able to destroy his guard. Another person appeared on the mountain. The young man wondered if it was his Uncle Hu had come here. Uncle Hu wasn't alone. A red-haired beauty was with him. The girl cheerfully exclaimed and said hello to her master. The young man asked if Chiu Ye was all right. How is she feeling? Mr. Hu said it was fine. Uncle got here in time. The young man hugged Chiu Ye and said that from now on, she was forbidden to leave him. He added that he was very worried. Yi Tong said, "What's the point of guarding the dragon family if they've already fallen? Why doesn't Mr. Hu go to their heavenly battle hall? Wealth and beauty, everything will be at his feet," Uncle asked. "Which heavenly hall are we talking about?" He waved his finger at the guards. He told them to come immediately. The young men who were on the mountain for cultivation noticed that the guards obeyed Uncle Hu. They said it was rumored that the stone guards were so vicious that they always chose the strongest. They obeyed this warrior, so he is in the realm of immortals. Uncle Hu stroked the stone warrior's head and said that he was a good boy. Ye Tong was terribly frightened. Ye Tong bowed his head and said, he didn't expect this person to be so strong. After all, he had easily subdued this stone guardian. Since ancient times, the weak have been eating the strong, and all the treasures on this mountain now belong to this warrior. Ye Tong said he was leaving. Lun Zhengyu said, "Where is that old man going?" Chiu Ye said for her young master to straighten out that bad man. Ye Tong thought, he might be taller than this young man, but that guy has a strange bloodline. He wouldn't be easy to deal with. Ye Tong stopped, turned around, and decided that he would fight the young man. The young man, without thinking long, jumped up and applied a palm of spiritual wind. The old man was thrown back. Ye Tong was lying on his back and coughing up blood. Lun Zhengyu stepped on his opponent's chest and asked, "What hand silenced the Catman's father?" The young man swelled his opponent's one arm. The villain shouted for someone to bring the master here. The subordinates brought the Catman's father. Malads rushed to his old man. The young man asked how his father could be so gullible as to obey this scoundrel. That's what it came down to. The old man lowered his eyes and said that it was really all his fault. He had been negligent in the matter. Ye Tong said he didn't do anything. And now that the Grand Master is safe and sound, could they please leave him alone? Ye Tong added that he was going to join the Heavenly Martial Temple. The man-cat shouted that the man in front of him was, in any case, a scoundrel. After all, he had hurt his father. The villain said, "It looks like the second master isn't going to let him go. Then he can destroy him." However, the second young master doesn't have the same skills as him. The man-cat, glaring with fierce eyes, said, "Does the villain want to check it?" The old man told his son not to fall for the villain's blackmail. The cat told his father that it was all his fault. But unfortunately, he noticed it too late. The human cat remembered his father telling him earlier. He had said that he was a great master of the Changchun clan, and the young man would soon grow up and become the second master of the clan. No longer would he be able to remain so absent-minded. The father promised to teach his son the family's cat spirit bloodline technique. The father then told his son about the special technique of the 4 qualities. These are sight, smell, sound, and shadow. The young man then said that he doesn't want to study. He wanted to be a chef and throwing grand banquets. The man looked at the young man and said that in that case, Loji did not have to follow his father's path. The Catman told Yeton that his father had used the special shadow of the 4 qualities that time. This time, the young man was going to destroy his opponent with it. He should know that their Changchun clan would not tolerate such rascals. Yitong replied that he had no desire to fight the second clan master, but he should know that his father had lost to him using that special shadow of the 4 qualities. The human cat thought that he didn't want to study it, afraid that his whole body would be sore. But now, he realized that if he wasn't strong enough, no one would reckon with him. Ma Luoji shouted that his opponent was about to die. Wu Tong wondered, what is that young man doing? Is it really a special shadow of the 4 qualities? Suddenly, the young man vomited. He coughed and said he needed help. Yiton clutched his stomach and said that there was a very strong stench around. The cat crouched down and pushed himself up and pounced on his opponent. Yitong didn't expect it and fell to the ground. The villain was wounded by a cat. Blood was gushing from his chest. Yitong screamed in terror and pain. Witnesses to the incident were amazed. The human cat, using an unconventional attack, was able to deal with his opponent. The man-cat had been eating so much all year that the odor from his mouth had destroyed Yetong. Ma Liji was surprised. Could it be that he was able to destroy such a strong opponent? Father said that his child had strangely almost destroyed everyone here. In any case, Yetong was not so easy to defeat. Uncle Hu said that since ancient times, when a young hero appears, new generations follow in his footsteps. In this case, it was a misplaced deep thought. Said for no reason at all, the father told his son Loji that during the awakening 10 years ago, there was chaos in the Changchun clan. His grandfather had been destroyed by the Temple of the Heavenly Host. Today, the World Crusher had awakened again. The man added that all this time he had been living as if in a fog. Now, his son must continue his struggle. Ma Lodge asked his father if it was true that Yetog had done nothing to him. His father said he was just pretending, and he believed that the young man didn't want to grow up in any way. It had always bothered him. The young cat shouted at his father, "Why doesn't he go to the theater? He's so good at pretending." Uncle Hu said they had finally arrived. On this rock is the World Crusher. Uncle Hu asked his nephew if Zhengyu knew why he was expelled from the Heavenly Host Temple. Previously, the Heavenly Host Temple wanted to take possession of special treasures. They released the demonic beasts imprisoned on Changchun Mountain, making an area the size of 100 miles uninhabitable. The members of the young man's mother's clan, the Changchun clan, and the Heavenly Gift Palace formed an alliance against the Heavenly Host Temple, which allowed them to defeat the World Crusher. Upon learning of the young man's background, he was banished from the Temple of the Heavenly Host. Uncle Hu added that the Crusher would awaken soon, and the Heavenly Host Temple had prepared for it. They are already old, but they, the younger generation, still have a lot to go through. The man continued, as far as he can see, though the young ones have some flaws, they complement each other well. If the seal of the World Crusher is weakened, he will become even stronger and will seek to destroy everything around him. The girl told Uncle Hu that she had brought the rest of the guards. Everyone looked around and saw that it was Lin Er. Ho Shuang said that his palace of heavenly gifts had never faced the king of the continent, but they had fought the World Crusher before. The leader of the Heaven's Gift Palace asked Brother Hu to let the children take these. They were scrolls with very valuable information. The warriors looked at each other. The leader of the Heavenly Gift Palace said that they would agree on the price. Uncle Hu called his opponent a wily old man who was trying to deceive him. The interlocutor said that these treasures are hard to get even with tons of gold. The men began to haggle. The count was dozens of spiritual gems. Spiritual gems were filled with spiritual energy. They were an important resource for cultivation. Lun Zhenyu thought that in his spatial treasury he had a mountain annihilation staff, a palm, a soul-tearing dagger, and a heavenly hammer. He offered to just exchange it. These Heaven's Gift Temple skills are good, but not suitable for him at all. The leader of the Heaven's Gift Temple agreed. He said that these skills were of the same level, but in the Heavenly Gift Temple's martial skills, there might be something hidden. Uncle Hu, after studying one of the scrolls, said that it was a Daluo print, and it would suit Zhengyu very well. The young man asked why Uncle Hu thought so. The man replied that the effectiveness of the seal manifests completely differently in different people. At best, it would be stronger than top-level skills. The opponent thought that Brother Hu had a good eye. This seal consists of 9 steps. The first 8 steps are very simple. However, the 9th one is the true essence of the skill. Everyone knows that once the 9th step is overcome, the usefulness of the first 8 steps increases dramatically. Only an exceptional genius can do this. The leader of the Heavenly Gifts Temple said that in his memory, only one person has been able to achieve the 9th step of the seal of the Daluo hand. The young man asked his uncle, "Does he definitely need to learn this skill?" It seemed like a waste of effort to him. Mr. Hu said that his nephew should know that when cultivating martial skills, one's personality is far more important than the secrets of the skill. A truly powerful cultivator does not evaluate martial skills based on level or school. The young man said that he understood everything. Uncle Hu said first, the young man must give up all the martial techniques he had learned. Heavenly Purple Flame, Fall Fire, Spiritual Wind Palm won't be able to strengthen him. He should use the God Crusher, obtained during the awakening of the bloodline. The uncle said the nephew must learn the first step by being in the warmth and cold for 3 days and nights. The 3rd day of training had arrived. The young man was in a vat of water. The red-haired beauty looked into the room through the window and thought that her master would do well. At the same time, to face the World Crusher, the rest of the group was also improving their fighting skills. Qiu Ye pondered. Uncle Hu said that the little monkey would be her battle pet. Everyone was fine with it. Mr. Hu told the young miss that the young master has an unusual talent. He can definitely excite the whole continent. A month of intense training had passed. Lun Zhengyu was continuously improving. He was constantly raising his level. While on the shore of a body of water, the man-cat turned his attention to all the things going on above the water surface. There was a sign of the river turning over. 29. The girl shouted that her master had succeeded. Ma Luoji said he didn't expect Zhenyu to be able to learn the 7th step of the seal of the Doluo hand. If one kept trying, one could definitely master the 9th step. The young man thought that he would still show the temple of the heavenly host. Uncle Hu and his colleague said that they had a few things to do at the foot of the mountain. The young men should train hard for now. When the World Crusher awakens, he will shake off the entire mountain. The girl shouted for her father to come back quickly. Ho Sivan asked Brother Hu if they really needed to do this. There was a thunderstorm in the forest. It rained heavily. The girl told the young master that there was a need to go inside. The young man turned to Qiu Ye and said that this place seemed strange to him. The young man thought that he was very hot. How can it be hot on top of a mountain? The girl suggested that the young man pay attention to something strange. And look at the ground. Where are these circles coming from? And why is the ground on fire? The Catman asked. This can't be the work of a fire spirit, can it? His father had told him that the appearance of fire spirits indicated the awakening of the World Crusher. Until he awakens, these little magical beasts will protect him. Everyone noticed that something was moving in the crack where the fire was coming out of. A fiery magical beast appeared from the crack. This beast roared. Nana said that the animal was looking right at her. The girl felt herself tense up. There were more animals and they were all looking at her. One of the animals touched the girl with its fiery paw. Her clothes burned at the same moment. Nana screamed in fright. The man-cat said it was a problem. The girl pushed the animal with her foot and said that he had no right to do such obscene things to her. The young man thought that this was not going to end well. We must try to restore at least a minimum of order. The paw of a huge beast appeared behind him. The fire beast was fire-breathing, and tongues of flames were shooting out around it time and time again. The Catman said to be careful. The small fire spirits are not distinguished by intelligence, but the big ones protect the World Crusher. Until he awakens, one must be vigilant. The young man thought it was the sign of the conqueror of the mountain. Zhenyu thought that the first 8 steps of the seal were enough to deal with the fire spirits. The fire spirit crouched down and shouted loudly. The sound spread throughout the forest. The man-cat said it was bad. He called out for his comrades. Fire spirits can multiply. From 1, there will be 10. And so on. If the fight goes on much longer, they won't stand a chance of winning. The little fire spirit turned around and ran into the forest. The young man said, he seemed to know a safe place. It's worth it to hurry after him. The young people hurried into the forest, and on the way they came upon a cave. The fire spirit returned and brought the girl a large crystal. The man-cat said that it is a fire spirit gem. It is a condensation of so many fire spirits. If you use it for cultivation, the power increases dramatically. Zhenyu thought he didn't expect that the gem he had been searching for so long was lying here. Unknown people appeared near the cave. One of them with a staff told Lun Zhenyu to give him this fire spirit gem, and then he would grant the young man a quick death. The young man thought that the temple of the heavenly host had sent a new group of people. The young man said wonderfully. The young man had just sold all the treasures taken from them. The strangers said that the young man was very arrogant. Therefore, he will die today. The young man thought that the master in front of him was a celestial limit master. He is stronger than the one called Elder Jia. The man-cat decided to come to Zheng Yu's rescue and told one of the strangers that he was his opponent. The adversary told the young man that it is quite difficult to reach the required level at such a young age. Therefore, he concludes that the man is a cat from the wrong family. He has no chance of winning. Zheng Yu bravely stepped forward and prepared to fight this infernal Cerberus. The young man laughed and said that opponents were no match for him. He activated the God Crusher and directed a jet of fiery flames at his opponents. The villain thought that the young man's lineage had not been seen in the land of the heavenly host. He said for his opponent to confess who was helping him. The young man said, why should he confess? The opponent used an inferno devouring wave against Lun Zhengyu. The young man's companions were frightened. The young man clutched his chest and thought that his meridian had been unexpectedly blocked. What should he do? He felt sick. He couldn't even breathe. The villain rejoiced and said that his hell-eating wave had penetrated the young man's heart. He would suffer greatly and beg for mercy. The young man said he was not going to admit defeat easily. Jung Yu comprehended the 9th step of his training and broke through. There was a powerful explosion in the mountains. A beam of light was directed into the sky. The locals in the neighborhood thought it was an earthquake. They were frightened and started to hide. The young man shouted loudly and raised his hand up. The opponents were startled. Was this really the 9th step of the seal of the Daluo hand? The opponents were being burned in the hellfire. The young man said that without that old man's pursuit, he wouldn't have been able to reach that level, nor would he have studied the 9th step. After the battle, everything calmed down. The birds on the lawn pecked at the food. Red crystals lay everywhere. Qiu Ye ran up to the young man and said that she was very worried about the young master. The girl put her arm around the young man's waist. The young man jumped aside in surprise. The girl was frightened and asked if she had hurt the young master. Nana appeared on the horizon and gave the young man the crystal. She told him to accept it. The girl added that fire was not her element at all. It was completely useless to her. The young man thanked the green-haired beauty, and after accepting the crystal from her hands, he immediately began to meditate in the lotus posture. Zheng Yu was very tense. The fiery beast got close to the young man and touched his forehead with his paw. The young man's friends were frightened and asked what he was doing. This could end badly. The man-cat said that the fire spirit gem was too strong. And already all the wounds on the young man's body had healed. Lun Zhengyu said that it was all due to the animal pressing on his meridian. If not for that, he wouldn't have been able to absorb the gem so quickly. The man-cat said that his friend would be able to reach the limit of immortals sooner or later. The young men were being watched from cover by small green creatures. The young man noticed that someone had jumped into the water. It couldn't help but catch his attention. Suddenly, something incredible happened. The head of a huge snake appeared above the young people in the cave. The young man wrapped his arms around the girl and told her to be careful. The snake opened its mouth, spewing a stream of fire from it. The young man said it was the seal of the destruction of the mountain. Nana decided to resist this snake and lunged at it, turning into a spider. The cat decided to use its right shadow claw magic and attacked the snake as well. The young man thought that this snake was 10 times stronger than the magical beasts they had encountered before. The mountain conqueror's mark was applied. This snake, Zheng Yu thought, has a terrifying speed. If he hadn't reached the limit of immortals, he would have already lost his life. Fighting with his opponent, the young man applied 9 steps in one and activated the Heaven Crusher. A powerful beam of light appeared, directed from the sky directly at the snake. The snake's head was torn off. The young man jumped straight to the body of the decapitated monster. It was no longer a threat. The servants appeared and were surprised to find that this fellow had single-handedly dealt with the World Crusher. What family is he from? Someone said that he was from the Lun family, the country of the heavenly host. No one expected their bloodline to be so strong. The Lun family will rise up soon. Ho Sivan, watching from the sidelines, told Mr. Hu that he was right. Lun Zhengyu, a true genius. The more he fights, the stronger he becomes. This 1,000-year-old magical beast, a world crusher, was destroyed by the skill of 9 steps in one. Mr. Hu said, "A little more training and this guy will reach a limit higher than theirs." The Heavenly Host Temple Gang, known for kidnapping promising talented children, may soon be here. That's exactly what happened. Dongfang Xiaobei appeared. The man said, since the young man had destroyed the World Crusher, he should hand it over to them. The Heavenly Host Temple would help the Lun family rise again and guarantee a high position in the Heavenly Host Temple. Not to mention the gold and treasures. Zheng Yu asked, what benefit would this be to the Heavenly Host Temple? Dongfang Xiaobei told the young man not to dare to push away the hand extended to him. If all of them, the 3 elders of the Heavenly Host Temple, attacked him, the young man wouldn't stand a chance. Lun Zhengyu said, if they want to attack him, they should hurry up. There's no point in idle talk. Or are they afraid after all? The interlocutor said, if they don't destroy the young man now, they will no longer be able to be called the Temple of the Heavenly Host. Therefore, he will be aggressive. The Shadow Wind technique was used in this battle. Everyone was extremely concentrated and maximally tense. Our hero noticed that after mastering the 9th step, the level of all the other steps also increased. The opponents decided that all 3 of them should attack at the same time. This young man is seriously injured by the World Crusher. He won't be able to hold on for long. Maluoji said that it was a disgrace. How could one attack others using numerical superiority? The cat decided to help his friend and applied special shadow qualities. The cat knew how to attack without fail. Everyone started gasping and screaming that it was a gas attack. And they're gasping. Mr. Cat shouted to the girl, Linner, that he had become much stronger. Maluoji was very pleased with himself. One rival said if a fat man tries to strangle others in this way, someone might cut out his heart. Mr. Cat was instantly wounded. Blood rushed from his chest. The fat man fell to his knees. He was in a lot of pain. Well, friends, I don't know about you, but I enjoyed this manhwa. The plot itself is quite interesting and intriguing. So if you liked the video, then subscribe to the channel and write a comment on what exactly you liked. And for a new part of this work, let's collect 1,000 likes under this video. All the best. See you soon.